So, tell me one thing. What is that? Oh, let's hear.
Akane has, like, it's the funny thing is that Akane has like a noticeably deeper voice than Sigma. Like that was an artistic choice for you to give Akane like a
No,
very
I was
deeper
just like
voice.
trying to correct Sigma's voice because I was like, I think it should be a little lower. I didn't even see that was Akane.
I'm sure.
Okay.
What is that?
He said that point C is January 27th, 2074, which is today. There's going to be a jump, and I'll jump to April 13th, 2029.
Yes, that's right.
But look, I'm still old. When is this jump supposed to happen?
Very soon.
Soon?
Yes.
And what's going to trigger it?
We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Fortunately, we now have plenty of that. Thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
And how do you propose to do that?
Like this! Yeah! And then she goes to stab him in the gut. Didn't I tell you? A crisis. A moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain.
What do you mean?
You haven't figured it out.
Hmm?
I mean this. Oh shit! Oh!
Dio's knife? What? What?
She is! She is about to go stab him in the gut! Oh!
No sooner were the words out of my mouth.
Oh, okay, no. Woo.
Fi!
Woo.
I screamed and leapt toward them. Akane was already in motion, the knife diving toward Fi's chest. I was almost there. When I regained consciousness, I was on the floor. There was a dull pain in my chest. I felt for a cut, but something was in the way. It took me a moment to realize there was Akane's body lying on top of me. I twisted my neck to look around. Nearby was an old tombstone. On it was written a few words in Latin. Tu fui, ego eris. What you are, I was. What I am, you will be.
I really want to make a Persona reference, but the Persona quote was taken from Mayan. Oh! Is that it?
Yeah, but I can't skip these credits.
I was gonna say, did you really just tell me that we needed to wait till next time for 2 minutes of content?
I did explicitly say last time that I didn't know how long it would be, the conversation.
This is so funny.
But we're not done yet.
But yeah, no, the Persona reference is Mayan. It's in La Quechalaquin.
Mayan is my favorite Ace Attorney sidekick. Just kidding. She's like my second to least favorite, but I still love her. I just love almost everybody else more. A favorite?
Who's your favorite sidekick? Yeah.
Honestly, I like Emma more than I like Maya. I don't know favorite. There's
who's Emma?
Emma. She was the sidekick in the DLC case for the first game, and then she's the detective in Ace Attorney 4 and onward.
Oh, the case of the finish, the cough-up queen.
No, she's not the cough-up queen. She's the one.
No,
that has
it's a case with her.
Yeah, the
in
case
it.
with the cough-up queen.
Yeah. She learns about fingerprinting.
Yeah, she's the science girl. No, I think I like every sidekick in Great Ace Attorney more than I like Maya. But I like Maya. Like, she's still like a 9 out of 10 character. It's just Ace Attorney sidekicks tend to be really great. Other than Tracy.
Who's Tracy?
Trucy, sorry, Trucy.
Who's Trucy?
Trucy Wright, you Ace Attorney 4, you've seen her. The Magician.
Oh, Phoenix's daughter?
Yeah.
Ah. I don't listen. The only characters I remember from the original trilogy.
She was in the original trilogy.
From the first times we started streaming before we took a break. Larry Butts.
I'm sure you'd remember a lot of them if you saw them.
Edgelord, Edward, Edelgard. No, what's his name? Don't tell me.
Squidward.
It's Ed something.
Ed and Eddie.
It's Edgeworth. And you know what's funny? I told you, I remember this vividly.
Achievement unlocked time after time.
I remember this vividly, that I would forget his English name, but I remember his Japanese one. It's Mitsurugi. I don't know why I won't remember Mitsurugi, but I did.
Okay. Well, there's a new spot on the flowchart.
Let's go.
Way before any of the other spots.
Is this like right before you get kidnapped?
Headquarters, April 13th, 2029. No, you're kidnapped on December 25th, 2028.
Just like later in the year.
This is like 4 months later, almost.
Oh, so like Radical 6.
I think this is the day the nuclear reactors went off. Or not nuclear, antimatter reactors.
I'm assuming that's me, right?
Sure, you can do
it. Today is April 13th, 2029, and this is the evening news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have any news to read. All of our station reporters have passed after contracting Radical 6. So have my... Excuse me. I've managed to keep on the airs until now, but I'm running out of tricks. It's time for me to sign off. This concludes our broadcast today. I pray that someday our world can be cleansed of this horrible plague. Goodbye. Ugh. Was not a fan of that.
I mean, she had Radical 6.
Ugh. Ugh. I just, I think I embodied that character a little bit more than I embodied anybody else in the game, so it was weird.
Yeah, well, on live broadcast you did that, so...
Leave it to me to give my peak performance for a character who immediately unalives herself.
For a moment, I just stared at the TV. The roar of the static seemed to fill the entire room, until with a click, it disappeared too. Had the power gone out? I heard footsteps behind me and turned around.
Oh.
You.
Whoa!
Akane? Back to your original Akane voice.
Well, this is like, how old is she now? 22? Is that what the credits said?
Yeah, she'd be, what, a year or two older. Like...
I thought she was 16 in the other one.
No, they were adults.
Oh, okay.
She might have been 19. It might have been 19, but she was.
No, it was Clover was the one that was like the youngest, right? She was,
yeah,
like,
Clover was the
18.
only minor, I believe, in the first game.
Yeah.
Even then, I think Clover was 17.
Looks like the first step was successful.
What the fuck? You killed me.
Killed?
I guess technically you're going to kill me 45 years from now, but still.
Hey, no need to be rude about it. I didn't kill you. I hit you with the butt of the knife. You're fine.
I'm okay.
Yes. You and Phi needed to experience a state of crisis. That was the only way.
Me and Phi?
Yes. I only told you about you, but we also needed Phi to jump. I thought they did say that they needed both of them.
But they didn't say that they're both jumping back from there.
Now, you know what happens next, right?
We go to the moon?
Correct. We'll be leaving tomorrow, April 14th, 2029. We've nearly finished preparing your shuttle. Only a few last-minute checks and additions. You'll be traveling to Rhizome 9 along with 3 treatment pods.
Alice and Clover, right?
Yes.
What about the third one? Who's in there?
Phi. We put her in cold sleep 2 days ago. She appeared at our headquarters and volunteered to be frozen. That wasn't the Phi who had jumped from point C, though. It was Phi before she jumped from point A to point D. In other words, she was following the same path that you are. And she still is.
And that means that after you froze her, the point C version of her jumped back into her body.
Yes. The point C version of Phi is sleeping in that pod. She'll stay there for the next 45 years. Sleeping in ice.
All ice.
Uh!
Then when she gets to point B, her consciousness will jump to point A, right?
Correct.
Huh. So that's why she didn't look old. So why don't you just stick me in one of those pods?
We can't do that.
Why not?
You haven't figured it out? You have to spend the next 45 years working on the AB project. After arriving in Rhizome 9, you must master genetic engineering and artificial intelligence programming, among other disciplines. Easier said than done, eh? To be fair, though, leave it to the one person that has eidetic memory. At the very least, he can memorize. He memorized what the rooms look like, right? So
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be unable to create Kyle, Luna, and Lagomorph. And of course, you will need to develop the chromatic doors and the bracelets. You will also be the person who summons Tenmyoji and Quark. Once you've completed all the preparations, the project can actually begin. January 25th, 2074. You will defrost Phi and carry her to the third AB room. Once you've done that, the 22-year-old version of you from point A will force you out. And you'll just go back 45 years to your own body on December 25th, 2028.
And then I change history? Do you really think I can keep the virus from getting out?
You have to. If you don't, billions of people will die. Only you and Phi can save them.
What about you? Aren't you an Esper too?
I can't do anything on my own. If this is going to work, I'll need your help.
So, what do I need to do?
What do you mean?
Like, what specific actions do I need to take? When Phi and I jump to point A, what are we going to do then?
You'll both enter the Mars mission test site.
And after that?
I don't know.
What?
I'm sorry. I really don't know anything about what happens in there. We don't know how the Radical Six escaped. We don't even know why it was there in the first place.
Oh, crap. And we're screwed.
That's why we need your help. You have the ability to jump through time and across parallel worlds. We need you to figure out what happened in that test facility. Things will be difficult. And I'm sure you'll find yourself in a great deal of danger. But I believe the two of you can overcome any obstacle.
Wait. How do you know it's so dangerous?
The 67-year-old version of you told me what happened. He wasn't able to stop the virus. So I suppose you could say you told me after you failed.
What did I say?
That the test facility is full of traps. There was one point a woman's life was in danger. You risked yourself for her sake and lost your arms and your right eye.
My arms and my right eye? What the hell? Suddenly a little rumble shook the building. What?
You look like a toy that, like, you peeled the plastic around their inner frame. It's just like disproportionately tiny hands.
What was that?
Go have a look.
I moved slowly to the window and peered outside. On the horizon, I could see a massive mushroom cloud climbing slowly toward the sky. Would we really be able to change the course of history? No, that was the wrong way to look at it. It couldn't be a question. I had to change history. We could save the world. I'm going to change history. I stared at the darkening skies above us and steeled myself. I would succeed.
Ba 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 ba.
End or beginning? Achievement unlocked, Fire and Ice.
Like, that's it? That's the game?
Nope. Now there's the epilogue that I got for getting all the gold files.
Okie dokie.
There it is. Where?
I've seen you finally woken up, Kyle.
Kyle.
Ah, yes. Of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
I lurched upright, jumped off the bed, and ran around to the other side of the partition. The mirror over the sink was covered with a film of dirt. I wiped it off my sleeve, and my reflection stared back at me. They couldn't just, like, make another version of his reflection?
Yeah, but
There's no mistake. The reflection belonged to Kyle Klim. So I'm Dr. Klim, Sierra Senior's clone.
what? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
An excellent question, one I didn't quite know the answer to myself. I knew who Kyle Klim was. In another history, he had been called K and had worn a suit of armor. He hadn't just worn the armor in that history, though. Apparently, he'd worn it all his life. Kyle had been born and raised in this lunar installation, which seemed to be called Rhizome 9. Rather late in his life, Akane had appeared as a mother figure, and he had consequently grown very attached to her. I knew everything about him. But even though I knew it, I didn't feel it. Was I really Kyle Clem? Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw his face. The spitting image of Sigma Clem in his younger days. I looked down. There was Dio, still handcuffed. I turned back around to Luna. What day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
And today is the last day of the AB project. Kyle has explained everything. Akane has explained everything in the garden. Then she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have you been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed a little more than 2 hours.
They still haven't been treated for the Radical 6.
No, they've all been given the antiviral. It just takes a while to take an effect.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes.
Why am I here?
The doctor carried you back here. You were in the pod in the garden.
So the person you call the Doctor, Sigma Climb, is inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Dio seemed to have remained unconscious.
Yes. I've been administering Sopro whenever he gets restless.
What about the others?
They've all gone off to different areas. To Myoji and Quark, for instance.
Oh, right. Mr. Clem. So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh? What are you two doing here? You don't know where we are? This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one. Mm-hmm. We were just about to get dressed and head out. You plan to return then? To Earth, I mean. Yeah. Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, I guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Clem now. Or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it. Why? What do you mean, why? Well, I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here. How is staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you? You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. About 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. That all happened. Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not going to change. In fact, it's because of what he did, or didn't do in the past, that we've got this past and present. Let me give you an example. Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. Eventually they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. "Let's go northwest," he says. So they take the northwestern road, but about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into the lane and plows through the bikers.
Yikes.
90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive. They don't stop, though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they'd gone 10,000 miles. And suddenly something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach destination, happy and healthy. And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident? Huh? Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right? Alright. Okay, 9 people then. What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories. Friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 99 lives is horrible and unfortunate. 90 lives, sorry. Can't keep my story straight. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. Inheritance, should we wait? I don't want to... Not sure if we should wait for inheritance. Keep going? Okay. 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and lost, and made the best they could of the hand they'd been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots? Being human is about fighting even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness even in a world that hates it. Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can Look, I'm not just gonna accept that, alright? You get it? If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet. Is he right? Oh, I read it wrong. If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet. Is he right? No. It's not gonna happen. We're here right now. This is reality. Even if Sigma does change the past, we're not just gonna disappear or something. Oh. And that means we get to stay together? Good. Thanks, kid. I understand how you feel. Why you'd want to return to Earth is clear. You have lives there, I imagine. There are likely people waiting for you. Right. Uh-huh. Have you already said goodbye to the others? Vi, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off. We told them we'd see them again someday, and then came here. You were the only people you want to say goodbye to? No point saying anything to Dio. Besides, he's asleep. You were asleep too. Sorry, but we didn't really know how much about you. You have a point. Akane was in the armor this timeline after all. What about Sigma? Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore. Of course. He is Dr. Klim now that his consciousness has returned. Yeah, but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here. A lot of warm feelings there, you know? And Akane? Never mind her. She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew.
Oof.
She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years. Hell, she may not even be human anymore. But the Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here. She's not anywhere.
Tragic.
Yeah, I mean, people change, especially over 50 years or whatever.
Yeah. In the end, Clover and I were just pawns. Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we're completely resentful. We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy enough to understand, but... it kinda sucks, though. I mean, Sigma and Phi have it easy. They'll get to go back to December 25th in 2028. They'll stop the Radical Six and save the world, and then they'll have a nice, normal future to look forward to. In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen. But we don't. We're stuck with Point C as our starting point. You told us about Ted Miyoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabs us take us to wherever the bikers are going, 10,000 miles to the northwest. Don't get us wrong. We know why we had to be here. Without us, SS consciousness wouldn't have been able to go back to right before the intersection. If that couldn't happen, then the fate of those 90 dead bikers would be sealed. But it's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest. We're stuck in the reality where the 90 bikers died.
Yeah, it does be stuck being stuck in the Northwest. I say as somebody who's never been to the Northwest.
Yeah, Portland, deal with it. And now we're supposed to go live on Earth? The wasteland now. And what about our friends and families? We left a whole world behind 45 years ago.
Well, Snake.
Even if it is for the greater good, it just doesn't seem fair, does it? Yeah, it's a little bit much. So we went and talked to the old lady. She told us that there is one way. One way we could get back to the past.
Let's say you do go back to the past. Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? It seemed to be how Sigma and Phi's jumps worked, at least.
Yes, you're right. This is different.
Different? How so?
From what she says, it sounds like there's a way that we can send our bodies back in time too.
That's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have two Clovers and two Alices at the same time?
But that wouldn't happen. Akane says there's a way around that.
How on earth does she plan to do that?
Schrodinger's cat.
That's all.
What? Just send them to a point in time after they've already been frozen. Then it wouldn't matter.
I mean, that's what they'd probably do.
Oh. Hey, Kyle. Figured you'd come here eventually.
Where's Dr. Clem?
You'd like to know? Luna said you were with him. He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now.
Wait. Luna said you were with him.
He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now. There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right. He told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. Want me to start it?
Sure. Glad to see you. There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind. I'd love to answer all your questions, but unfortunately my circumstances make that an impossibility. I hope you can forgive me. Everything I know, Phi should also know. I've instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is. What does he mean, other than Kyle?
Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask?
Right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Phi?
I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman, or Spider-Man, or Aquaman, or a mermaid, a merman, or wolfman, or Brahmin, or common, or ramen. I'm not a Cayman either, so you don't really need to worry about anything.
Please don't dodge the question. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct? Specifically, you were sent to Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody. Although by then you were in cold sleep. You wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting that body. That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen, until the time was right. Then, on January 25th, 2074, you were finally thawed out, even though you didn't wake up. Still unconscious, you were carried to the AB room. That was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing you out, and sending you back to December 25th, 2028. This is when you finally woke up. In 2028, you found and joined forces with Sigma, whose older mind was inhabiting his younger body. Together, you attempted to infiltrate the Mars mission test facility. Unfortunately, your plan failed. Radical 6 did escape on New Year's Eve. That failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along with the line that branches out to the right from Point E, you headed straight to Point D. Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put in one of the treatment pods. Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future. It is, of course, the version of you that left your body when Akane attacked you in the garden. This caused the two versions of you to swap places, and you moved 45 years into the future where you woke up on the garden floor. That put you on the line that comes here. So if we could discount the time you spent in cold sleep, for you, only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back to the past from the garden. Have I missed anything?
No, everything you talked about, you got right.
What do you mean by that?
I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You can think of me as kind of an X factor. It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it.
And I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain?
It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics. Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2. v1 plus v2 divided by 1 plus the residual of v1 times v2 divided by c raised to the second power is the actual equation. Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c squared, which is the speed of light squared. That means that 1 plus the residual of v1 times v2 divided by c squared is usually going to evaluate to something pretty close to 1. Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip that step and use v1 plus v2. See what I'm saying? In most situations, it works, even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about, right? As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Phi. I don't quite understand. fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions.
So, what was that you wanted to ask about?
No. What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028. You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Radical 6 in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with a simulated mission to space?
Sorry, but can't tell you that.
Why?
Because it would change history. There's a history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes right to. That's the line that goes to the right of point E. In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation and the Earth isn't red. The future is much brighter. But if I tell you what you're asking me now, then that reality will disappear. Understand?
I don't. Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know?
You're about to go back to the past, right?
The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that.
Then where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about. You were sleeping in the pot in the garden. You just woke up. So how can you know all this? You know my past? Sigma's past?
I...
I shall give you your answer. You are not Kyle Klim. Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not. Think about it. Do you really believe you're Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely?
Then where's the real Kyle's consciousness?
You were thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a matter of speaking, he has arrived on December 25th, 2028. His consciousness has gone into a body from that time. I doubt you know how much the doctor loves Kyle. He raised him on his own. Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here? I know what I told the others. That Kyle was Dr. Klim's spare. That was not his only purpose. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we're trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve 2028. Its purpose would be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus. For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary.
And that is why he created him.
Yes.
So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the doctor's achieved his objective. Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission.
Correct.
There's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B from point D. That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places?
I suppose you could put it that way, yes.
That's ridiculous. But what's going to happen to me? Are you telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box, living in a borrowed body?
No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrolled variable that entered our closed system. As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you.
I have no idea what you...
Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now, too. You're about to go into the past and save the world. Find Sigma. even with all his future knowledge, would need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past. Only you can save the world.
Oops. There's no way I...
Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028?
Well, yes, I do, but...
Then you must believe. Reality is shaped by what we believe reality should be. If observation can change the motion of a particle, then how is it odd to think that human thought can shape reality? Your will can change history. The world will be reshaped into the what you imagine. Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history. Only you can save the world.
I think that's it. Is that it? Yep, alternative end. Achievements unlocked, you found it, and a certain point of view. So yeah, there's that trippy. And
is that ending only for the remake?
No, I think it was in the original too, I'm not sure. I mean, that ending isn't going to be super important to anything because according to the writer of the game, the one who switched bodies there with Kyle is us, the player in the real world.
We are Kyle.
Making the real world part of Virtue Last or the Zero Escapes canon. Canonically, in their story, we played the games.
Fascinating.
We interact with their universe.
Neat.
I'm gonna just pick a random point to jump to check the gold files.
You need to be at a point.
We can't be outside of reality to check the gold
I
files.
thought you could do it from the menu.
I don't think so. God, this is... I don't really want this music to check it for. Can we have something with chiller music?
Just go to the area with the lake.
Lake?
With the river.
I don't know where...
In the garden.
Bee garden. That's Bee garden. Deactivate the bomb. That's probably not going to be relaxing music.
No, probably... Oh, the one with Luna's in, right? Where she's like... dissolving.
Well, that'd be depressing.
Yeah, but it's like a fun song, right? It's like cute.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to jump to the end there. I'm just gonna jump here. It was chill enough music when it was here. Here, this is fine. Oh my god! But now I have to look everywhere. Stop it.
That's your fault.
Archive. So the secret files. Let's see what we have. It's just about the AB room games, the AB rooms, the bracelet.
Sure. Artificial. Wait, AI is just
Sure.
artificial insemination. Wait, what?
AI is short for artificial insemination, a process by which eggs are fertilized without the use of a male organ. It is commonly used in the breeding of dairy, cattle, and pigs, but also been. Oh, I'm being told that in this case, AI stands for artificial intelligence, which is another thing entirely.
Okay.
Hero 3 says, words said for his leaves, a few variations. Have a nice trick, have a nice trap, have a nice trader. The heck? Oh, quantum computer. That's what a quantum computer is. You can skim this if you want, but...
Yeah, that's fine. Pause the VOD. Okay, great. Okay, great.
Niner game rules,
No.
supplementary rules. Here
No.
are a few more.
No, I
Dinosaur.
literally would rage quit.
BP. Number 9
Number
door.
9, total lunar eclipse.
Yeah. Also Pearl Beta. Yeah. It's just mystery of it in the games. Is this Turbocurine? Adam. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Newspaper excerpt. Pandemic.
We,
Just-
nope. Nope.
Oops. EU stands for erotic units. EU is a system developed to measure a combination of physical, emotional, and situational attractiveness. It ranges from 0 to 20, where 20 might be Marilyn Monroe and 0 might be Gilbert Gottfried.
Rest
For
in
the
peace to
curious.
both of them.
Ouch, though, calling him a 0. For the curious, Danny Trejo, rate 16 EU. Just being sexy does not guarantee a high EU rating.
Danny Trejo is sexy.
But
Get outta
just
here.
being sexy doesn't guarantee it. Not to be confused with competing systems' hotness or flexibility, the EU system weighs a number of factors such as practicality, sustainability, emotional investment, and the bias of the observer. Women with a high EU rating have usually mastered the art of the tease.
Wait, let me take a picture of this because I want to like systematically figure out what the EU
God,
is for my friends and family.
I'm like terrified you're going to be texting me later constantly about just different people and what their EU is.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you what our group of friends EUs are, whether you want to hear it or not.
Uni is a 16, Senna is a 20.
No.
Land is a 22.
She's the girl with the gall. What can I say?
Let's see. Oh, Grandpa videos. A collection of films that Tenmyoji has gathered. Their content isn't really explicit per se, but they still aren't really appropriate for someone of Quark's age. Should be noted the term does not imply the videos contain grandpas or grandpa-like actors.
Yikes.
Sigma has a strange verbal and possibly psychological tick which caused him to make cat puns whenever he talks about cats. The cause of this behavior seems to be an experience he had as a child. When Sigma was in preschool, there was a deserted house near his school that everyone called the Cat Mansion. He'd always loved cats, so every day he would visit the cat mansion and give the cats that lived there some of his lunch. One day he realized he could understand what the cats were saying to one another. A magical black cat had appeared and told him it had given him this gift in exchange for giving food to its fellows. But, the magical cat said, "You can never tell anyone about your gift," the magical black cat warned. "If you do, you'll be cursed." But young Sigma was so happy at his newfound ability that he slipped and told a girl about it, so the black cat cursed him. His curse was to speak only in cat puns for the rest of his life. Fortunately for him, a magical white cat came along soon afterward, felt the curse was only a little too harsh, and lessened it so he'd only talk about cat puns when he talked about cats, and they lived happily ever after. There. That's what a phone is. That's what a golem is.
Yep.
That's what a golem is.
Yep.
Oh, that specific golem we have. It's
the Cockney model.
Yeah, Cockney model number. Chinese room, Turing test, supplementary rules, golem. The gist of Golem's somewhat rambling explanation that the center of thought doesn't necessarily have to reside in the body. In the case of Golem, this is.
Yeah. Wounds. I don't know what a wound is.
It's just the wounds in the game that they found.
What wounds?
I think this one
Like
is the one
throughout the
to Akane.
I don't know. Fair. Okay.
No. Yeah. Not to be confused with a coroner. A coroner is a government.
Oh, thank
official.
you. Thank you. Me playing an M-rated game, I didn't know the word coroner.
Autopsy. It is also super gross.
Yeah.
I don't think an autopsy is that gross, but okay. I get a little.
I feel like-
but like.
Yeah, I feel like people just generally like have a hard time confronting death.
Memento Mori.
Memento Mori.
Luminol, that's just what Luminol is. keep in mind this in mind next time you're contemplating how to deal with the neighbors listening to death metal at 3 in the morning. Bracelet. Kay's bracelet. Okay, I'm just saying how it's incorporated in the suit.
Generalized amnesia.
Yeah.
What is amnesia?
You know what amnesia is?
You want to desperately forget, but find it impossible. It leads to all sort of other mental problems. Or so the person sitting behind me says. Cooked food.
Why is this just a list of... Oh, these are all the food that Fi said she ate. This is the list of food Fi said she ate and what each of them is. Okay.
Nice.
Oh. More things, he says.
Great. Free the soul.
So free the soul is... that's what the Myrmidons are. That's
Yeah,
what
the
brother
Myrmidons.
is.
Brother.
The race that puts the left wrist and the 9 participants in the ambidextrous have important features never mentioned. As soon as put on the needle, the underside activates and inserts itself into the wearer. It doesn't necessarily mean that it injects a drug, only that activates and pierces the skin. Maybe there's something on the needle, and maybe there isn't. All this term is when someone puts on the bracelet, they get poked. Okay, when you put it on, you get poked. I don't know the point of that, but okay. Ambidex games, penalty.
Voting machines, hazmat suit, scotch, and then root beer float.
Little scotch or scratch or itch. Returning from work, which annoys Quirk. Quirk. Yeah. So also known as a black cow.
Yeah. I always thought black cows were with Coke.
That's a brown cow? I'm guessing.
I thought brown cows were with, I guess so, yeah. That makes sense, because I thought brown cows were root beer, so it would be the other way around.
Well, floor A and floor B. There's a rumor the floors were actually named after a particular Swedish pop rock group from the 70s, but everyone involved in this project insists that that is a vile and hurtful lie.
You get it?
Is that ABBA?
Yeah.
A-Bay?
Yeah. A baby. Radical 6, Jumpy Doll.
Don't you think his hat looks kind of weird? There's a huge band that wraps around his head. Is he hiding a pair of Ferengi ears? Maybe just a young Ferengi? Well, this is just between you and me, but he's got missiles in there. Besides, the hats are hiding these pods like you see on the helicopters or SAM sites. Except these missiles are tiny, and when he gets in trouble, press both sides of the hat open, and they just fly all at once like pshh. Just kidding, actually he keeps snacks in there.
That means that the Star Trek universe is canon to the Zero Escape series.
So
Ferengis are, they're aliens from the Star Trek series.
Isn't Lobot from
I don't know that reference.
I think that's Ratchet and Clank.
And there you go.
I think that's what Ratchet is, if I remember correctly. Celavier, treatment cause, cold sleep, okay. Past 2 nonary games, that's resonance, nonary. Okay. And yeah, that's it. Okay.
Great.